Hello, Fermented. We have P. Jelly Clark. All-Makatsu. We have Travis Baldry.
Today we have a really special guest, Leopoldo Gav.
Are you reeling it in and defending Clown?
I am. Earth doesn't even exist in Battlestar Galactica.
This show, I was like, I loves it, I hate it.
It's called All Fluff.
Oh!
If you didn't know how I actually feel about The Mandalorian,
Don't worry,
this is it right here. Hello, Fermented folks, and welcome to another episode of Fermented Fiction, the show where we drink beer, argue with each other, and debate the best sci-fi, fantasy, and horror that we can find in the literary and film realms. We are glad to have you here live on YouTube, coming to you from StreamYard, and we are going to be getting into this right away, right after we do a round of personal updates, because today we're pretty damn excited, aren't we, lads? We're pretty damn excited. We got a great guest in MJ Kuhn. MJ, so thank you.
Yeah.
Hell
Thanks
yeah.
for having
And if
me.
you don't know who MJ is, she is the author of Among Thieves, Thick as Thieves. Those are both like rogue-centric fantasy novels. They're really, really good. I had a great time reading them. And she is the co-host of the SFF Addicts podcast, which interviews some of your favorite science fiction and fantasy authors. They really do have an incredible slate. They have great conversations and interviews. You should go check them out if you like these kind of shows. It's very much up your alley as well. So yeah, thank you for being here, MJ, to debate today's topic, which is Frankenstein, Del Toro's Frankenstein. It just came out, released on Netflix, and you can go watch it for free, which is pretty fucking sweet for a movie like this. Usually you'd have to wait a while, but you do not. You can go watch it today. And if you don't want this to spoil everything in this show, like we always do, be prepared for that. You know what else you could be prepared for, but not really, because we don't even know what's going to come at you. It always comes out of left field. That's our personal updates. And since you are leftmost in my video field there, Jeremy, we'll start with you.
Ooh, well then, let's go right ahead and do this. So my personal update is that it came to me as sort of a shocking, horrific realization that it is November, and therefore the National Novel Writing Month. So if I do get the time, I do have the ambition to just actually try and finish my book. So, hey, thank you, everyone. Thank you. Hey, I thought it was big of me to try to finish the things that I've started.
Sure.
I don't think it's the bare minimum. I think it's, it's admirable, laudable. And, yeah.
I agree. When it comes to writing books, the bare minimum is definitely saying you're writing a book.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people be doing that out there. I'm glad you're actually buckling down and setting out to finish, buddy. I can't wait to read it.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of that aforementioned bare minimum, and not to throw too much shade at you there, Colin, but what you up to?
No, I have not
finished your book
it.
yet? If you don't want me to make fun of you, fucking do it.
National Novel Writing Month that bleeds into December, that bleeds into Christmas, that bleeds into January, and definitely done by the next holiday at some point. But that's going well. I mean, I definitely have more than like 70,000 words at some point. So
that is crazy,
though.
I mean, for real.
And my actual update, though, is that I think Vietnamese pho soup should be like a HSA compatible. Like you can use your healthcare and flexible spending accounts to pay for pho. Because I had it today. I've had plenty of times in my life, but when it's the hot summer, it's hard to fit it in there. Now is the perfect time of year for some pho, and it was even better than I remember. It was so good at a new place that I found. So I think that's what we should do. It should be a health sign off, tax-free, deductible. Because I mean, it's just as good as chicken soup for you. I feel way better. My cold feels much improved.
I mean,
Thanks.
depending on the broth, it is very much a type of chicken soup. So that's great. I agree with you. Fuzz
You're
delicious.
supposed to make it from bone broth all overnight, So
Exactly.
it's legit.
Yeah, that broth takes so long to make. I tried to do it one time, and it was pretty good, but it does take like two real quick.
She just jumped out of my hands. Her name is Evie. She is my new kitten. Her favorite new activity is crawling behind my monitors where all of my wires are and unplugging like my camera and my lights and all of my microphone and all manner of things while I'm on calls. So yeah, let me show off her cuteness so that if I pop off screen, you guys can be like, oh, it's just Evie. No, she decided to run away. She's
that's fair.
She's in full Zoomies mode, but she'll be back.
She's still got that kitten energy, and we certainly respect that. We would never try to take and do what you must.
Yep. Exactly. Do your
Absolutely.
crazy things. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Oh, we got Travis. Travis, I'm gonna bring you on stage. He's not here yet, so you guys don't necessarily believe me yet, but you will, because look at this shit.
Man, I believe you.
Boom!
Almost.
There he is.
Holy crap!
Yeah, we hear you.
Right now.
No, I just got
Go.
a class, my certification class, went right from Zoom to here. So hi, MJ.
Hello.
Hey, long time no see.
Long time no see.
What were you getting certified in?
I'm at the end of a 2-year licensing credential for private Catholic schools. It's like an alternative to state licensure. Because
Nice.
state schools don't teach my subjects, so
They sure don't. They sure don't. Not in this state anyway. There might be a state where that's more of a thing these days, but they probably don't teach. Welcome to the show, bud. Glad you made it. My personal update is I got back out surfing for the first time this season this morning, and it was very small, very tiny waves, and I almost turned around because I didn't feel like putting on my wetsuit for all that. But I've been trying to get back in shape, so I made myself put on the wetsuit and go basically have a paddle practice day. And I'm glad I used to be than like the Strait of Juan de Fuca right around sunrise. It was a lot of fun. So that was a good time. I'm glad to be getting back into surf season. The surfing's better here when it's cold, so you have to have a nice thick wetsuit, but it is worth it. And that's far less interesting than our guest today, which is MJ Kuhn. MJ, can you tell the good people of Fermented Fiction who you are, what you do, where they can find you, and why you're here?
So, I mean, largely I'm just like a joker that spends too long in front of my computer. But more usefully, I am the author of books like Among Thieves, Thick as Thieves. I also have a writing journal resource, which I actually have one in reaching distance.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The ultimate story Bible. So if you're interested in writing your own stuff, it's like a guided journal vibe.
Nice.
But yeah, and then I'm co-host of SFF Addicts podcasts, where we do like deep dives into fantasy, science fiction, writing craft. We talked like we've had like Christopher Paolini's been on. We've had the James S.A. Corey, the co-authors that are James S.A. Corey on. I mean, we've on a panel. We've had like Brandon Sanderson and George R. R. Martin. So yeah. Check it out if you guys are interested. You can find all the links on my website, mjkuhn, KUHN.com, or just MJ Kuhn Books. At MJ Kuhn Books is my handle. Literally anywhere that I exist. I'm mostly on Instagram though.
That's a marketing professional on the show today. Unlike us
Yeah,
here
she's
at
doing
Fermented
so good.
Fiction, she has the same fucking handle everywhere. Fermented Fiction 2. Don't mind us. We're bad at this, but we're glad you're here regardless.
You're keeping us on our toes. It's a good thing.
That's
you
right.
know? You only want the people that are dedicated.
That's right. We're not interested in the rabble, okay? And if y'all can't keep up, if you're not going to come looking for us,
Exactly. Like and
yeah, but
subscribe,
only if
but
you're not.
only if you can.
This is
We
so.
might have been.
This is like
We might have been troubleshooting today.
this right here.
but-
This is a little prologue teaser to our Patreon tier list. When you guys see it, this is exactly the
Yes.
vibe you're getting.
This is the vibe. This is the vibe. We
I love
gatekeep for ourselves around here, because nobody else is lined up to do it yet. So we're doing it right. Fiction people who want to be like, hey, I was watching Fermented Fiction before it was cool. So that would be everybody watching now. MJ, thank you so much for coming on the show. We're so stoked you're here to raise our production value and have a great debate about Del Toro's Frankenstein. Now, from Guillermo del fucking Toro, and it therefore is visually effective, stunning, has lots of real sets and props, but we don't really get to talk about whether we like it or not, at least not yet, because we're going to let the dice gods decide our positions like we always do. Are you ready to roll dice?
I am ready to roll dice.
All right, I'm on
Go
the
for it.
10-minute timer.
I got
16 is
16.
good.
That means you win. I got a
I
12.
think that breaks the streak.
Well,
Okay? I think we've gotten quite a few victories for the show.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
And I think you just broke it. Well done.
boom. Crushed
That's
it.
good because this movie sucks.
All right.
Sucking it in there.
Whoa, early
Ooh.
start.
But you have to say for the
False
next
start
10
here.
minutes, you got to take a bold
Wait.
stand.
Wait till we start. My word. All right. Clayton,
gonna be
you're
hard to say.
obviously ready. MJ, are you ready?
I think so. I think I'm ready.
All right. Since you're arguing the affirmative, you're going to bring us in. All right. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, debate.
Yeah. So I think that this adaptation was an incredibly visceral, visually stunning, and narratively compelling, if not entirely completely true to Shelley's original story, adaptation of the Frankenstein tale. Do I need to say more to lead us in? I don't know the rules.
You certainly don't have to. You've already said the only good thing about this movie, which is that for like at least half of it, it was pretty true to the narrative. That said, it falls right off a cliff as soon as it starts trying to do its own version of this story, because it does a lot of like things that I think are meant to increase tension, like making the brother older, adding a love affair that was completely unnecessary, and an infidelity like theme. I feel like that's such a low-hanging fruit that they just go for all the time. Like if they can add infidelity into a story, they huck it in there. Fuck it. Like everybody thinks this is saucy, but not really. Like Frankenstein was already an absolute piece of shit, so it was totally unnecessary. Like if that would have like added to his character maybe, or added to the actual tension in the story, but it didn't for me. Like the tension to me, as somebody who's seen Frankenstein, is I know Elizabeth's gonna get killed already. So like I would rather that love was something to root for and something that I would give a fuck about ending. But instead, he kind of went with the Bride of Frankenstein approach, which is like a totally different story. So I don't know. I think that was my main. I have other notes, but I will let you talk some. But that's my kind of main problem with the story all throughout. I'm not going to be a book cloak here and say like you have to follow the story every time, the original source material. Though I do think that usually helps. But I think that this movie, where it did change the things from the book that it changed, it had an intention behind them that is obvious, and obvious because it didn't work.
Interesting. See, I'm a big fan personally of when we have an adaptation and it strays a bit from the source material. Because for me, we've seen Frankenstein, we know the story. If we have a shot-for-shot remake, as we see in so many like Disney adaptations, like the live-action Disney adaptations, where it's a shot-for-shot, as a viewer, I don't need to see that shit because I already know what exactly is going to happen. To me, having there be some differences and some changes to the narrative, for me, without actually spoiling or ruining any of the themes or the greater messaging, it kept me more narratively engaged throughout because I didn't feel like I knew exactly what was going to happen. I was like, whoa, wait, Elizabeth is not his like adopted sister who he's betrothed to. Now suddenly I'm like, well, maybe she's not going to fucking die. You know, like I don't know what they're doing here. I mean, Frankenstein is Jacob Elordi. Anything can happen. Or
That's
not
true.
Frankenstein, the monster. Frankenstein is.
Yeah, get it right. It's
Let me tell
Frankenstein's
you,
monster.
Oscar Isaac and Jacob Elordi. This is the only situation in which like that pairing is not hot. But
I'm sure there's a
I
subreddit out there.
I mean, I assure you there are thousands of subreddits out there. I really enjoyed the kind of departures from the original story, and I think that they did a lot of work. You know, the monster's character is already really sympathetic in the book. I think the narrative of this film and the way that they framed it actually made the monster far more sympathetic. Without shying away from the kind of body horror and the like still monstrous aspects of the creature. So I really enjoyed those kind of departures from the story.
Yeah, I guess what bums me out about it, I like your point about they changed enough that you weren't sure where they were going to go, so maybe they would change something pivotal from the book. That just, to me, though, reinforces my point. Like, I didn't care if Elizabeth lived this time. Like, I didn't care. Like, they didn't really have anything good going. Sure, she was, like, a good person to Frankenstein's monster and everything, but so, like, I already knew she was going to end up, like, with him, at least not going to Antarctica with him or wherever they were, the North Pole with him, you know, like she wasn't there. So I assume she still died. But I see your point. Like that could be possible. I guess the early on though, it seemed like they were going to stick closer to the book. And you say we've seen Frankenstein, but I disagree. I have not seen Frankenstein. I have not seen Mary Shelley's book done.
That's
in
fair.
a movie,
in a film
in a
adaptation.
show. Like,
yeah,
the closest they've ever got is like Penny Dreadful, which is like a reach. But that's because like Frankenstein's monster was closer to the book version in that one. But in most like other ones, it's, I don't know, he's just a big hulking lumbering monster, unless it's like a comedic role, right? And then that's different. But so I don't think I've seen it, and this seemed like it was going to show it to, like, actually give it to me finally, and it still didn't. And it was, like, very Del Toro. His style was infused in every frame of that movie, so, like, I still enjoyed it cinematically, but that almost was worse, because it's like you have a really first date, and then she doesn't text you back. Like it was like, you know, I was all set up to believe in love. So this movie was edging you, is
what you're saying. Emotionally, you felt edged by this film.
Yeah, it was an edge and ghost, MJ, an edge and ghost, like the worst 1-2 punch you can get in the dating world. It's so much worse than a swipe where you don't even know what you never had. You know.
I mean, it's fair, but you can't, with all your criticisms, you can't debate that the cinematography of this film was gorgeous. Like there are several moments, where I literally had to like stop and pause when I was watching and just go like, damn. Like I'm thinking of it particularly like early, right at the beginning when the mom is standing on the porch with that gorgeous like flowing red veil, and then we have all the like staff with the covered faces, just the costuming and the set design and the cinematography. And the score, honestly, I found the score fascinatingly like juxtapositional in a lot of areas, right? Like I'm thinking particularly the scene where Frankenstein is actually like cutting apart the bodies to make the monster, and it's like this like cheerful little like carousel sound in the background almost, right? And it was very juxtapositional in a very Del Toro way. So I think like even critics of this film can't say that it wasn't gorgeous. Am I right?
pretty dressing on a shallow skeleton, a shallow bear skeleton, like that awesome headpiece on Mia Goth and her wooden ass performance in this movie. I can't hate on one aspect of the cinematography. I can hate on these digital animals. Are we just digital animals forever now? Or can we fucking like just... Because look, this is the other thing. They shot it with real wolves, like to do some of the stunts, but then they made them digital. And it's like, what?
Okay, because I cannot disagree with you about the digital animals, because that theme with the elk, and I know I'm supposed to be defending right now, and I am, because that,
you are.
It made me like, it hurt my soul the moment he's like trying to be tender and like feeding the elk these berries, and then the hunters are like, fuck you, this is what humanity's about, motherfucker.
I hated that too, though. Like,
I really hated it, but I also hated the fact that the elk was very obviously CGI, which I guess for my soul that made me happier, because then I was like, well, it's not a real elk. It wouldn't have been anyways, but like
there's a level of detachment.
Yeah.
Level of detachment. Okay, that's fair. That was also a dumb scene too. Like, how come hunters can track an elk, which is way harder to track, and not a lumbering ass human that like walks like a reanimated corpse? Like, he would be the easiest person to track ever. Not that one.
Most dangerous game.
Frankenstein is the most dangerous. Frankenstein's monster is definitely the most dangerous game, but not because he's hard to track. Only because when you find him, it's gonna go bad.
If you're like a hunter tracker, and then you find out that your quarry has literally been
It's in your
walls for like long enough for his hair to grow out to his shoulders. They're just
talk
bad
about getting
hunters.
edged.
They're bad hunters and bad people. But while we're at it, this is the first time I think I've seen, and I mean, I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've seen a different film adaptation of Frankenstein. This might be the first time I've seen the portrayal of the family and the blind old man.
Yeah, no, I'll talk about that when we're not in the debate part, because that is something I will have a harder time tearing at. I did enjoy that. So the problem with that though was another thing I have just that I don't like about the bones of this movie. It's mostly the bones I don't like the opposite of a good pho, is the pacing of this movie was completely bananas. And we could talk about it a little bit more in the debate proper, but like that was such a slow emotional scene, and then
shut up, like, Clay, shut up.
Yeah, just shut it.
You're done.
Shut it.
You're done, Zoe.
Shut it down.
Over. You gotta let it go.
I'm letting it go. I think those 5 seconds were much faster than they came fast. They came fast.
They did come fast.
I don't know if those are one Mississippi. That's all I'm saying.
That was kind of ironic because you were talking about pacing when you were saying it was really fast.
There you go. You didn't pace your argument correctly.
I wish I could say I did that on purpose as a bit, but the bit did me is what happened.
Well, since he was not debating, Colin, do you have trivia for us right now? Oh, wait.
I have fermented facts, but I also have a beer of the week, bud.
This is me messing this up.
That?
How about you do that? You tell us your beer of the week, and then we'll get everyone else's beer, and then you can give us some facts.
All right. Well,
talk to me about pacing.
Good old Dr. Frankenstein hails from I think at that time it was like the Austro-Hungarian Empire and Switzerland, and it's all very confusing times, but certainly I think Kostritzer Schwarzbier, Germany's #1 black lager, is the way to go for this movie.
I love that, and I love your reference, because as someone who's teaching that period right now, Europe from like 1000 all the way to like 1800 is so fun. Just like lots of cousin marrying, weird stuff going on, people all over the place. Like,
it's a lot happening.
Yeah.
Fair.
Jeremy, what's your drink?
Well, what I've got, I'm trying to stay on theme this season, and basically one of the only things you see people drinking in this film that isn't laudanum or mercury is brandy.
Oh,
so I got this Fruition apple brandy.
Ooh.
I thought
right.
you were gonna pull out milk for a second.
I thought you were gonna say milk.
No,
We
there
had to
was
pour it
also
in a
milk.
decanter, like over your arm, like the servant in that
Ah,
one
yeah.
scene. It's like, that fucking milk.
This milk is
Because
a
that was
wonderful
like-
vintage.
that
That
was-
was year, or I may die.
Yeah.
Delightful.
Distractingly obvious part of the film that we'll definitely talk about is how often Oscar Wilde has a glass of milk.
Let's hope he's not lactose intolerant. IRL.
Yeah. What?
We certainly hope not. I'm taking a break from drinking because I just got back from Pittsburgh and I need to. And this weekend I have a bachelor party. So yeah, I gotta the liver's got to take a bye week. Yeah, and then we'll get back to it next game. But I'm drinking non-alcoholic Guinness because
Ooh, dude,
it
NA
actually
Guinness is actually
tastes.
pretty good.
No,
It
you
works
guys
pretty good.
like NA Guinness.
I mean,
I'm-
comparatively, for
I'm
an NA.
dumbfounded. I hated it, but hey, maybe I suck. Maybe I'm wrong.
You are.
You're-
But that's okay. Someone has to be wrong
opinion.
for.
Yeah, yeah.
Someone has to be wrong for me and MJ to be right. But
Fair.
no, I mean, I could see why you would hate it for sure. But I think it's because it's a nitro beer to begin with. It works pretty good as an NA, and it tastes kind of like a beer. You just have to go in not thinking like I'm gonna have a Guinness right now, just like I'm having a beer.
Well,
I
Clay,
think.
enjoy your week of NAs, and to quote the great poet's Fallout Boy, detox just to retox. Okay.
Well, I'm still smoking weed too, so
Oh, there we go. I am drinking.
Let's not get crazy.
I
Come
think
on
if,
now.
if Frankenstein was born in America and stumbled onto any old farm, he'd probably have what I'm having, PBR. So
An
The American-
classic.
the American remake of Frankenstein will have so much PBR if that ever happens.
so much PBR.
I hope it
Every
doesn't.
scene. It will be
PBR
the milk.
and milk. The milk.
I don't know. Does
You
I
know.
Frankenstein
You just
count as the
know.
American remake of Frankenstein?
I don't know. You
It
just
might.
know that Frankenstein would be born in Wisconsin.
I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway,
It's a
MJ.
take though. It's a take.
what are you drinking?
So I too am taking a break, not drinking alcohol, but I am doing a play on the milk. I'm having cream soda.
Hell yeah.
Delightful.
And you can't see it on camera, I'm sure, but I'm pouring it in my glass that has the text from the One Ring around the edge.
Oh,
which
There you
is
go.
Very good.
Nice.
My favorite little glass. So there you go.
Love that.
Mm,
You came all geared
right.
up. Appreciate it.
one drink to rule them all, surely.
Exactly. Milk, according to Frankenstein.
Yes, milk. That rules them all.
Victor. Colin.
The boy
speaking
had
of the
strong
milk,
bones. No one can take that
Yeah.
from him.
do you have any
Clearly.
trivia? Is there a trivia fact about the milk? Because I'd be very curious.
I do expect
Someone
that now,
else has
Colin.
to chime in with the fermented milk facts. But the origins of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus, were 1816, the year without a summer, when a volcanic winter caused by Mount Tambora's explosion and eruption basically caused a year without a summer, and it was cold the entire year. It was at that time that these poets went out to Lake Geneva, and those certain poets were Mary Shelley, Percy Bysshe Shelley, her future husband, and Lord Byron, and another one who I forget, is not as famous. And they all had a trip out there together, and they had an idea for let's write a scary story competition, because it's scary as hell in this summer that's not a summer, and it's cold as hell. So what else are we gonna do? And Mary Shelley just like came up with Frankenstein and blew everybody away. And then they told her to publish it. She had to do it anonymously 2 years later. At the time, I think she was like 17, and then when it was published, she was 20. And then like 2 decades later, 1830, there was actually a new version published with her name on it. And she proceeded to basically invent science fiction and become like one of the best, most popular literary female writers ever. And also basically start the modern genre of horror. So she did a whole lot, all in the age of 20.
Hell of
Which
a
are the
retreat.
origins of this.
We're all failures, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
And as for the film, which Del Toro said he was extremely inspired to create his whole life, I watched the behind the scenes on Netflix, which is
yeah,
really
that was
cool.
fun.
He says a lot of great stuff. Like he really wanted to make, or he was most inspired about relationships between fathers and sons, especially being a father himself, and being inspired by Pinocchio and Frankenstein, which is feels like a very horror director thing to say, especially when you think about his other movies, like Pan's Labyrinth, which we did a previous episode on. And one of the coolest things about the film in terms of its creation, which I felt like it would be really annoying to work with Del Toro, because a lot of the people, like the makeup and the scene and set design and wardrobe, he worked with people he has worked with before, and they were commenting, I feel like kind of passive aggressively, that he made a lot of decisions and changes on set, which they just had to roll with. So it's sounds kind of annoying to roll with, but also like I think it shows. And the way they explain it in the movie or the Netflix background documentary, which is really cool, was the way that, for instance, Elizabeth has a fascination with insects, and then that informed like the clothes that she was going to wear, and they had to invent new ways of like creating insect patterns on clothing that was like period accurate, and that was all part of like just on the set what they were doing. And everything informed everything else on the creation of the film. So it sounds like everybody had just an incredible time, and I think it really shows.
Yeah, I thought it was cool that originally they were going with like a more traditional military uniform, and then he saw the landscape and he was like, no, they need to look just like the landscape. So they had like a brighter, grayer uniform. And then the lighting in the captain's quarters is like the same blue, really kind of blasted through there. So they always kind of look like surrounded by the environment, part of the environment. It was cool. Sorry, Colin, you got some more?
That is, I think, all my facts for the moment. If anybody has more, tune in, chime in.
Mia Goth, man. You came at my girl Mia, Clay. And
I was just playing, Mia. You know I love you.
Mia Goth is slowly establishing early in her career that she's the Travis Hunter, for all my NFL fans out there, of the movie universe.
That's a good one. Mia Goth slays. I love her.
Not that old, and she's already done 3 projects in which she plays 2 characters in the same movie, and you can't tell.
That's
she plays
true.
both the mother
It's
and
pretty
Elizabeth in this, and in the Pearl trilogy, she plays Pearl as an old woman and Pearl as a young woman in the sequel, and the like porn actress in X at the same time as playing Pearl as an old woman. Like, Mia Goth, you're fantastic.
Got range.
She's amazing. That was such a dumb thing to say. I just threw it out there. I didn't even write that. I didn't write that down. I was just
blame the dice. Blame the dice, Clay.
I totally
There was a weird moment though. I will give Clayton this. Like, when she first appeared on screen as Elizabeth, there was something about the way she was sitting and her facial expression and like the outfit that I was like, I don't know about this. This doesn't seem like it's going to be Elizabeth. And then she started to speak and I was like, oh, okay, it's Mia Goth. Like, Mia Goth convinced me that she's
how foolish of me to have lost faith.
Yeah, no, she slew in this movie. I thought Jacob Elordi did too. He was awesome as the monster.
Dude, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I agree.
Wasn't
I
he?
honestly forgot. I remembered that he'd been cast as the monster like forever ago, right? Like I saw it somewhere on the internet. And then I completely forgot about that until I'm literally watching it. And I Googled, halfway through watching this movie, I take out my phone. I'm like, who the fuck is playing the monster? They're kind of and I was like, oh my God, that's right. It's Jacob Elordi. No wonder they keep showing him with the shirt off.
Right.
But
smart business.
The thirsty girls are going to be coming for Frankenstein and his monster, both of them. Like,
he took over late too. It was originally supposed to be Andrew Garfield, and he dropped
Andrew Garfield.
Huh.
Thirsty girls would have come for that too. This was ordained by the gods.
It was a win-win. And apparently he imitated Japanese Buto dance. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. And if I had a nickel for every monster actor who used Mongolian throat singing to portray, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't saying a lot, but I mean, it seems like a lot when
Where
12
that
hours
Wait,
of
who's the
makeup.
other one?
Nosferatu.
Oh, yeah.
Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Skarsgård
Okay.
imitated Mongolian throat singing to get the voice of Count Orlov.
Right.
But yeah, those were what I had. Anyone else before I jump in with our a little bit of a rant?
Oscar Isaac was the only choice for Victor Frankenstein. It was always going to be him. And in the documentary about the movie, which again is on Netflix, definitely recommend it. He talked about like basically Del Toro just said to him at a dinner, like, you can play Victor or you will play Victor, but you have to be ready.
They talked about relationships with their fathers.
Yeah.
Like he invited him over to his house, and he was saying how like Del Toro's house is incredible, as you would expect, and with full of strange curiosities and oddities. And they just talked about like, what's your relationship with your father? How did it go for you? What do you feel like being a father? And it's like that's all. And that was basically became like a casting session.
Yeah.
And then he was like, you should play Victor.
I want to believe he came in, sat down, he served him a glass of milk, and immediately was like, did you love your dad? No, please.
How I'm going to start every social interaction when I want people to get out of my house now.
Glass of milk. Did you love your
Glass
dad?
of milk and ask them a deeply personal question about their childhood.
It's a really good icebreaker.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, it'll drive
Again,
out
like-
most people, but some people,
Right?
it'll just keep them there.
Yeah.
And then you're
Just
stuck with
anchor.
them.
Yeah, I would answer the
See?
question, but be like,
Yeah.
hey, I hate milk. Can I have something else as I tell you about my relationship?
I could tell you a tale.
He'd be like, Frankenstein would hate milk. That makes sense. Or I think he would have, he might have shied away from some milk.
Yeah.
I could see either choice working out if you had the right conversation there, right?
Right.
Travis, speaking of the right conversation, let's do the right segment. Did this movie do good at the box office?
Shrugs shoulders aggressively. I don't know. There is no box office. This is where my rant comes from because this is the new age we live in. Streaming numbers are good, but they don't mean anything because none of those numbers are quantifiable to a person in a seat. We don't know if that's a family all watching together. Yes, it's marketed as a success because it had a huge audience in its opening weekend on Netflix with 29.1 million views. It only made 422,000 at the box office, but that's because it had a very limited release. So if you were in LA, you were in Southern California area, or maybe over in New York with those indie theaters, you got to see this movie in theaters. But otherwise, you had to wait, like the rest of us plebeians, for it to drop on Netflix. And then you're one of the 29.1 million. But again, that doesn't mean anything other than Netflix is successful and can keep doing this. So I guess, yes, it's a success. It had $120 million budget and they didn't blink. So clearly they're making a profit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
That's my rant.
Hey, you did it.
Yep.
Okay, so now we are going to do this new segment that's sort of always been a thing, but we're just making it an official segment now. And then we'll go to break after that. So, MJ, what did you, or I guess we start with me, right? Because I had to attack, and then we'll go to MJ. I lied about pretty much everything. I could have done without the digital animals. That was an easy shot for me. But I understand why it was used, obviously. But,
You sure? You didn't want them to rip the skin off a real wolf?
No.
The whole skin off that real wolf?
He tore so many human beings apart in this movie. That would be par for the course to skin an animal. And we did see a wolf get you can make that prop. That's all I have to say about that. I think it was the only that was the only truth that I said. Mia Goth, I seriously am just lying out of my ass for the views. And if I apologize, you're a wonderful actress. Keep fucking killing it in everything you do. This movie is absolutely beautiful. I love the dialogue, especially. Del Toro is one of my favorite directors for a reason, and that's because he always has some really, really powerful character work, believable dialogue, and he builds these massive worlds and then just has you live in them. Like, he doesn't tell you they're there, which is cool. They are the world, and you feel like you get to inhabit it because you have a good connection with the characters. Because their conversations sound real to me, which is huge for me enjoying something. I love all the sets and prop pieces. I mean, all of those were like built sets or filmed on location. No giant CGI green rooms for Del Toro, which is just amazing. Like, they built that lab for real. And seeing movies that are still going to spend like their budget on that is amazing. I'm such a fan of it, and it's so much better, you know? Those sets are just amazing, and you can tell it's a physical space. It makes a big difference. And when Frankenstein's monster shows up, that was so sick. You know, I'm so sad I didn't get to talk about this in the debate, because that is definitely the best intro Frankenstein's monster I've ever seen. It was awesome, and it kind of like sets you up for exactly the tone of the movie. When he just moves that whole ship, you're like, okay, I know what Frankenstein I have here. Like, I have a Frankenstein's monster that can lift a ship. So let's saddle up for that. And I was pretty excited from that very moment. I would say I actually wasn't lying about the infidelity thing. That annoys me. But I get it. Like, it's just a really popular thing. It's a very high tension situation that's believable, that's also relatable. I think that's what makes it so enticing. Like, we don't all know what it's like to be in a car chase, but everybody knows what it's like to be in a bad relationship situation. So like, I think that's a good positive part of it as well. I loved it overall, though. Do love so much that they did the blind man, because that is such a beautiful and important part of the Frankenstein book that so very often does not make the adaptation. In fact, I haven't watched them all, to be fair, but like the 4 or 5 I have watched, I don't recall that ever being portrayed, like you said, MJ.
It's briefly in Penny Dreadful, but not nearly to this extent.
Yeah, and that's like buried to me. So that would have been like the B story of one episode or something, right? But this is the central, longest breathing portion of the monster story. And I thought it was really, really effective. And I wasn't completely lying about the pacing either. At the end, it felt very abrupt to me. Like, I like that he walks into the sun instead of lighting himself, or heavily implying, I believe, that he's going to burn himself alive. But I don't think you see it in the book, right? I can't remember the exact ending. So he wanders off into the dark and he's gone, right? So I like that he wanders into a different sort of fire. And that's kind of like Del Toro very intentionally scripts this movie so that at that end, it is indicative of the tone of the whole movie. It ends on a note of forgiveness and sort of bittersweet hope instead of like being completely defeated, which I would say is how Del Toro usually ends his films. Like Pan's Labyrinth is my favorite example, obviously, but that's a movie with such a bittersweet but weirdly hopeful in a dark way ending that you kind of expect from Del Toro. And I thought he did a good job of telling his own version of Frankenstein. Though there's definitely like things from the book I wish I would have seen also, but like I got to see my favorite stuff and I was happy about that. And the whole beginning was fucking sick. Like for 3/4 of the movie, it was perfect. And then it was just that last quarter was a little too abrupt for me. MJ, what did you think? Were you lying?
I was not lying. I actually really enjoyed this movie. I will agree with you on the affair part, because like I'm looking through, like, because I literally just like took stream of consciousness notes on my phone as I was watching this over the weekend, and it's got things like, you know, all caps, OMG the elk, I'm so sad, and not the old man. So this is just so you have some context for the unhingedness of these notes. But a lot of my notes that are things that are kind of negative are related to that. So it's dialogue. What about what you have denied me, bitch? Victor, she said she didn't want you. That's not denying you anything. Were some of my frustrated notes with some of these parts. But I really did enjoyed the film in general. I thought that I don't know that I have a single bone to pick with any of the acting, which is kind of unusual for me. Usually I'm like, oh, it was good, except for, you know, this portrayal was like a little wooden, or like, you know, whatever. I will say that his name is escaping me right now, but Tywin Lannister is just
Charles Dance.
Like, thank you, Charles Dance. He's just like really cornered the market on shitty father figures. It's great.
So good.
Disapproving fathers.
So
he
good
plays
at
it
being
so well on
horrible.
screen. Yeah. No, I really, really enjoyed it. I too liked the deviation at the end. I think, and it's been a long time since I've read the book. Like literally, we're talking like maybe 10th grade English class. I think it's the last time I actually read Frankenstein. But I think the monster, what I remember at least, sinks under, like is going, I don't know if we actually see it happen, but is intending to like just drown himself in the ocean, or like sink to the bottom of the frozen ocean. So to me, at least with my potentially flawed recollection, when he did like sank to the bottom of the ocean in the very beginning and then clawed his way back out, it was like, oh, this is going to be something different. Which, even if it was the burning, the part when he explodes himself with the dynamite and doesn't die, that too, you know what I mean? Even if that is the actual ending in the book, and I'm misremembering. Either way, like Del Toro has given us a kind of cue where it's like, okay, he's not going to die. And I really liked that line. I agree with your note entirely about the dialogue. It was very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like flowery, but without sounding fake, which is really hard.
Exactly.
Like it was really profound dialogue, but it sounded still very conversational. And I felt like all the actors pulled it off quite well. But the last line that, or it might not be the very last line, but right at the end when when Victor Frankenstein is like, you know, if you can't die, then there's no recourse but to live, you know? And I thought that was like, that's just kind of a beautiful, like, I don't know, note of hope for people in general that might find themselves in strife. You know, I can see that being like a, well, okay, onward we go. Like we're soldiering on. And I thought that was really beautiful. But yeah, no, I really liked it. And I liked all the portrayals, and I found it weird. I guess my one complaint is very niche. I have epilepsy, so all the scenes with lightning, I have no idea what happened.
That's fair.
Because I always have to go like this. But other than that,
that's what Victor Frankenstein was doing too.
Yeah, was he? He was just like, I don't know what's happening. He might have,
just like,
for
ooh,
all I know. As he's climbing up to like place the spire, I was like, okay, well, I hope I can tell, you know, audibly what happens.
That was actually,
I was not lying. I liked it.
Good. I'm glad you liked it. That was in my notes too for cons, was why would you wait until the rainstorm?
Right?
You would want to do that
for the plot.
For dramatic effect, right?
I guess.
For the plot. Do it for the gram.
So that you can have a fight with Christoph Waltz in the middle of the rainstorm.
Yeah, it's good.
I would like to mention at this time too that Christoph Waltz was the Graham in this movie, essentially.
He was the Graham.
Dude,
I will say, again, it's been a long time since I've read the book, but I don't think that his character existed at all in the book. Like this kind of financier. I thought that was a really cool addition. The like financier who has this ulterior motive, and then it brings in the new way we're like introducing who Elizabeth is. I thought that was really interesting, and also it let us get Christoph Waltz, which is
that's true.
Yeah, talk about
of
corner in the market.
Although,
I mean, fair.
Although
evil German man,
his character did sort of like kind of draw attention to one of the things that I think is maybe a con in this movie, which I did love, the movie overall. But like, so if Harlander wanted to have his consciousness put into a new body, he really should have told Victor before he spent months not even trying to do any part of that. Just doing a completely different kind of science altogether, and then just showing up in a rainstorm like, you should put my brain in that thing. It's like, what? How? Why? No.
Well, Victor should have implied that by the angry tone he took in the urinal.
Yeah.
Like how Victor's answer to that though wasn't like, oh well, we've not determined how to move consciousness specifically from one person to another. It was just like, but your brain is also sick. It was like, oh, maybe you could do it. I guess I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe
your
he
life,
thinks
Victor.
he can.
I love that. So
Yeah,
every
maybe.
director,
Just-
every like director who works long enough has like a stamp of a thing that they do. Like everyone makes fun of Tarantino for the foot fetish, but he has other ones with his like the way he angles certain shots, and they all have it. I'm beginning to wonder if Guillermo del Toro's is men peeing without using their hands. Because this is the third movie I've seen that in, and it's freaking me out a little bit.
We'll have
It's
to keep an eye
important
on
to
it.
have like a realistic representation of urination out there.
It's just, I'm like, is this a thing for
Really
you,
passionate
Guillermo?
He's like,
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
tired
he
of this
just
false
stands
narrative
there.
about how men pee.
One
Exactly.
movie, I was like, okay. 2 movies, I was like, Third movie, I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, Guillermo.
Scientifically, 3 is a pattern, right? So
It's character work. It shows a high level of confidence just standing there, hog out, and letting things fall where they may.
There's
That's
other
true.
ways to show confidence.
It's symbolic.
Guillermo,
his favorite. It's his pet way to show it, you know?
his favorite.
Mhm. We all have it. We all have it. Travis, what is your true opinion of the
Yeah,
movie?
I'm torn. I mean, clearly, I liked it because I think it's hard for. There's so many elements that are so good that I wouldn't believe anyone that said they like hated it, because I just don't think there's anything here to hate vehemently. I was a little disappointed, and not even from a purely book cloaks point. I was hoping it would be more accurate based on the trailers, but so I find this is kind of a personal pet peeve of mine from like a theology standpoint, which I won't nerd out about, I swear, too much. But I feel like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is saying 2 things. One, Victor Frankenstein is the actual monster, the man who thinks that he can play God and create this thing, and then also escape from its vengeance and like run from his fate. Like it's a very kind of Greek tale mixed with that time where like Christianity was permeating through all culture, with like kind of that ancient Greek Western idea of like you can't escape fate, very Oedipus in that. But I think
Yeah, we heard that loud and clear.
Sorry, the other part that Shelley was trying to say was with the monster, and it's that when man does try and imitate the creation of God, it's like a false and empty form of it that's like soulless and will always kind of cascade into something that's worse. And kind of like you can see that now in like AI. There's a lot of people are talking about Frankenstein in relation to AI. And what I think Guillermo missed that disappointed me is he like hammered the first one. He was like, Victor is the monster. We're going to make him the worst human being on earth, to the point where he has Victor kill Elizabeth. He has Victor cause the death of his brother in a way. He has like everything bad except for the amount of men that are killed at the end with the ship. Pretty much every other death is Victor's fault. And the book does that, but it does it through the monster. And I just was a little disappointed that Guillermo was so like gung-ho about showing that one part of the story that I think he abandoned the other part and kind of like really made this monster a hero. And I don't think Shelley was ever trying to do that. I think Shelley was trying to play them against each other, of saying like they're both realms, but one is a realm because of his father, and the other is a 𝘍𝘳𝘓 because he's, this ideal, this like prideful, and that's the whole last point, and I'm done, I swear. That's like the whole reason the first book the monster reads in entirety in the book is Paradise Lost, is because it's like, it's this direct reflection of who Victor Frankenstein is like the prideful son who believes he's better and can unshackle himself from the laws of nature. And so, yeah, I just think Guimarães' vision is very good, and it hammers home the one half of Shelley's vision, but I was a little disappointed to see him shed the other half.
I wonder if that was almost like a tiny sliver of like audience distrust, right? Like not trusting his audience to pick up on, because like I thought, like obviously Mary Shelley's Frankenstein's monster is not the monster. Frankenstein's monster, like that's the message, but it's like it's more subtext, whereas this one was like, no, but like look at his kind eyes.
I think it was.
I did really like the movie, but like the monster isn't really all that monstrous in this take. And I wonder if that was like Guillermo del Toro. Maybe, I'm sure there's, probably a billion other things, but I wonder if part of that interpretation was that, like, I don't know that I trust a modern audience to pick up on all this subtext. I
think there's evidence there in the script too, which Clayton, I agree with you. The script is like, I'd say 80% great, but there's a 20% that really frustrated me of like, there's actually there's a line where Victor's brother says, "You're the monster." And I was like, what? Come on, man. Like,
yeah, don't worry.
What are you doing?
Didn't have to do that.
You didn't
he
have
drank
to
so much milk, we know.
And
what a monster.
I've seen that a lot in modern cinema. Like this is the second episode of referenced Predator Badlands, but I just saw that, and it's like wrought with this type of writing where it's like, hey, this thing is that thing. Did you get it? Okay, we're going to give you like 3 more lines to make sure you got it. And I hate when that happens. And I was really, again, disappointed is a feeling I had because I know Guillermo is a genius. And to see him kind of fall into that trope, even once, I was like, man, Guillermo, why?
Yeah. I think the writing was really, really good through most of it, but I didn't like that line in particular. Because that's I will say though, stakes wise, that's a hell of a thing to be your brother's last words to you.
Dude,
like, basically.
I mean, fair.
Like, yeah. Like, you could have said a lot of things, but he was like, hey, I got one thing I never got to tell you, and it's that I hate you. Goodbye. It was brutal. But I still didn't like it. Yeah.
Only better last words would have been, you drink too much milk.
Yeah, that would have been a little better, but I don't know if he anticipated fully the impact that the milk would have on the world. Clearly it had an impact on all of us. Colin, how did the milk impact you and the rest of the movie, I guess?
Man, I spaced for the milk. That went right over me. I felt I was not distracted by the milk in the movie.
You can see that in the X-rated version of this movie.
I'll take issue with Travis because I think that
how now?
I'm pretty sure that a lot. So in the book, our main character is a random dude in the Arctic, writing letters back to his booty call about, oh man, this incredible journey that we're doing to discover the North Pole and blah blah blah, and here's the weather and all this stuff, and then typical Victorian fashion, and then we get into like how he makes a discovery, and it's this dude out in the middle of nowhere, and how did he get there, and all this stuff, and so there's a lot of that, and then we get his version of Dr. Frankenstein's version of what he did to end up there. And there's a lot of that in the book. Like the book is entirely unreliable narrators. And so I think that just reinforces a lot of our sort of conceptions of like, is Frankenstein like, what does he look like? Is he ugly, or is he like pretty normal, but there's something in the eyes that are off about him? Like, and how bad is Victor really? Like, we know he's bad, but is he just portraying himself in this better way? So I wish there was more of that in the movie. I thought the movie was fantastic. But I do feel like Del Toro is, especially with something like Pan's Labyrinth, I feel like there was a lot of sort of, is this all in her head? Like, how much are we getting sort of childhood trauma dreams going on? And we can kind of debate whether some of this is actually in her head or not. And I was hoping that would happen in this too, where there would be a little bit more of, well, this is just his version of the event kind of going on.
I don't.
But it was a pretty great movie. There are times where it's like, okay, the Pacific Rim version where I can kind of sit back and take a shot and enjoy. And then they talk like he completely inspired dialogues from Mary Shelley.
Travis, you look like you have a retort.
I just don't see how that counteracts anything I said. Yeah, there's unreliable narrators, but we get two unreliable narrators that give conflicting narratives, and through both those conflicting narratives, we still come out with the same message, basically. And we can argue the eye thing all day, but like, it's a direct line from the book. It's so our conception, perception, blah blah blah, doesn't really, like, the actual text proves that, like, from Victor's perspective, he saw something wrong in the eyes, and it's not. And so I think Shelley's doing that on purpose. I just don't think she's wasting words. So yeah, I don't see how the unreliable narrator counteracts anything I had as a gripe. I still like the movie, by the way.
I think that there is one interesting thing. I don't know that I felt necessarily, and maybe this was just me. I'd be interested in if other people had this experience, but I almost didn't. I kind of believed their version of the story, and I think that's what Colin is speaking to. Something about the way they were portrayed, even like as much of a asshole as Frankenstein is, he does seem to be. I do believe his version of the story. I'm not sure why, but I had that experience. I didn't not trust the narrative, whereas in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, I definitely knew that Victor was like not as good of a person as he was looking like he was.
Yeah, I mean,
and they also didn't. He didn't make himself look good at all.
Yeah,
too. Like it felt like a very honest look at yourself, if that's what he was doing, like to this random boat captain. Like he was like, well, let me tell you, this is how it really went. That's how it felt to me, I guess. So
look, if you can't be honest with a boat captain, who can you be honest with? You know,
that's true. That's
life
true.
Lessons,
Words to live
life
by.
Lessons.
Yeah.
Life lessons.
Did you draw any other life lessons from your time with this movie, Jeremy?
I did, and I spoke to this before. I did really love this movie. I will say that, the things beyond that I do have are like tiny gripes, things that would like jump out at me as like, well, this is weird a little bit. Like how almost everybody has English accents except for the like Christoph Waltz, who's just doing his best Christoph Waltz impression. He's knocking that out of the park. But like Victor's supposed to be Swiss, and he was born in Naples, and he's just like, yes, what I will do is I will bring a man to life. Like, well, that's not how that should sound, especially when we. But I don't know, and like, one of the big things that jumped out to me early on is like, why the hell would you want a coffin with a face hole? If I die, don't let my coffin have a face hole.
Style, Jeremy.
Yeah,
that's the easiest way for everything to get in. It's literally the first place they would go.
Yep.
For everything to get in?
To your body.
All of what? What?
To your body, all the worms and shit, they'd be just going right in your eyes.
Yeah, but then they covered the face hole with a face.
That's
both
true.
Times. There's 2 face hole coffins in this movie, and it's like, okay.
I mean, it's an open casket, but they only wanted to do the face.
Just the face. Well, did you guys notice too? There's a couple times when Mia Goth's character shows up. Well, I guess that doesn't answer who she is. Elizabeth shows up, and she has like her little bonnet thing. Looks strikingly similar to the mom's dead face framing with the red around the pale face. It's twice that Elizabeth shows up with that exact like framing, and I thought that was really interesting.
Yes.
I would not be surprised if Guillermo, the costume designers for this movie, didn't. I would not be surprised if they took inspiration from Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola. I got very similar vibes where the costuming was like, we don't give a shit about the period it's in. This is all about the story.
This is the
Stylistic license.
And see, but I loved it here.
Yeah.
Bram Stoker's threw me off.
And
If anything,
speaking of story,
Jeremy, I gotta say, Victor should have a Scottish accent because he went to the medical college, the surgeon's college in Edinburgh, Scotland.
okay, well, I went.
He grew
to
up in
school
Naples.
North Dakota.
He would have.
Yeah,
Should
but
I
you
have
have
a
to
North
do a Scottish
Dakota accent?
To fit in.
Don't
should.
you know?
need to. That's what you have to do. You've been doing life wrong.
I
this
guess.
whole time. You didn't know it.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Adapt or
Dude.
die.
It's always good to be. I think it's helpful a lot of the time to be a person with an accent in your friend group. You know,
Don't worry.
it can
You
be.
do have an accent.
That's true. I just have to go to the right place. And that place is not. Jeremy, did you have more you wanted to say about the movie?
Not too much more, but like and this is where I'm going to push back against Travis, but like actually push back like Colin was pretending to do, but I'm going to follow through.
I'll push with
Okay.
you, Travis. I push with
Par for the
Travis for the
course.
record.
Oh my god! Yeah, we're all pushing on Travis right now.
Yeah,
I'm
this is-
pushing with
this
him.
is-
I'm
Yeah,
on
they're
his
really
side.
hard.
You're
Hey, I'm
pushing
a
with.
Philadelphia fan. It's a tush push.
Okay. Good.
Yep.
Go ahead and push that tush. But
Go
I enjoy I won't say I have mixed feelings about the changes in Victor's and the monsters like characters, where like
Mhm.
everything that was changed about Victor's character makes him just more of a bastard.
Yep.
And
True.
makes the monster basically entirely blameless.
Yeah.
But like I like that for the monster. I think that the fact that it clashes with a theme from the book that Mary Shelley intended basically doesn't matter. Death of the author is real, especially when the author is actually dead, and Mary Shelley is very dead. She can have her thing, and she does for all of eternity. And like I think it works, especially for the story being told, that it's not the monster's fault, and he doesn't have to be a monster just because people keep calling him that.
Yeah.
But also, on a side thing, like people keep seeing him from a distance, and how do
Yes.
they not just think he's a guy
Yeah.
from a
I
distance?
know.
Like
Right?
even up
he
close,
has hair.
he's like he's tall, but like not unreasonably
No one's
tall.
that tall.
Like even if you
Just
see him up
must be a
close,
monster.
he's not like a healthy looking man, but he's still he's a guy.
He's just
Yeah.
a dude, yeah, like a dude with some scars. This is like an era of war. Like you could be
Like
fighting a war veteran right now.
he
Like you
cannot
guys.
be the weirdest
Come on.
looking person that someone could encounter under
No.
perfectly normal circumstances.
Definitely
And
not.
people are just like, monster, let's kill it.
Oh, God.
Oh shit, it's Wolverine.
Okay, can
They-
I know we're
They
going to
do
5 minutes.
how quickly they shoot him, those hunters, is
Dude!
ridiculous.
And then they just
Right,
leave him on the
like,
fence.
Excuse me, sir.
That's
Are you hurt?
bananas.
Yeah.
Then they just leave him on the fence. They don't go like cut his head off to make sure he's dead or like put another slug in him. They're just like, yeah, we got him. And they walk away.
They just leave him out.
Leave
Bury
right
him.
on our
He's on their
property line
land.
and just fuck off. Yeah.
They shot him
one
and
does
left him on the farm.
No
I
one
thought
does
I
that.
thought they buried him because we faded to black.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no,
no,
he
we
just
have-
got snowed on.
There.
I know
No,
we have a
Gilbert.
5-minute break. I have to. My last little 2 cents here is I actually kind of agree with you in a point, Jeremy, because the way I didn't say this correctly is I like the Guillermo because I've seen adaptations that change the meaning of the story, but they do it kind of like haphazardly and they lose everything and they don't have their own purpose. And that's not what happened here. I think Guillermo really wanted to focus on the Victor part. And he did that so well. Like he picked a lane and he like drove his narrative down that lane perfectly. But I think where I am disappointed is, again, yeah, death of the author matters. But if we're comparing two things, the original and the adaptation, I'm going to have a little bit of a scale where it's like, which one's the stronger story? And I think Shelley's has more to say. And I just think it's a stronger story. And this one was a bit weaker where it didn't have to be, but it just lost a part of Shelley's story that I think really diluted it for me. And that's what I mean. But I definitely don't want to come off saying Guillermo didn't steer in a clear direction, because I definitely think he did.
Well, I guess it's just a question of whether you prefer the hubris of science message or the breaking the cycles of bad parenting kind of message, nature versus nurture, that the film had, where, you know, it dares to take the stance of we need to do better at parenting than just hitting our kids with sticks.
True. That's not the way to do it. It truly isn't.
And the creature broke that cycle that was just pervasive throughout the Frankenstein line. He did it.
He did, by ripping off a few jawbones and bending that first sailor right in half, which was just awesome.
Oh God.
Yeah, that was such a savage scene. And speaking of savage scenes, we're gonna give you a 5-minute break because this has been a show so far, and we appreciate you riding with us. We will see you on the other side of it. Hello, Fermented folks. Welcome to another episode of Fermented Fiction, the first of our new season, and I believe it's season 4. The show where we drink beer and argue with each other and bring on really awesome creative guests.
If you'll permit me to go a little bit outside the box. Once upon a time, apparently, people used to sniff mummy remains, powdered mummy remains, like cocaine. So I think 3 lines of powdered mummy remains, if you can get to that as well. Yeah, that'll get you right to really enjoy the movie, you know.
Dave told us all about making a mead, and I talk shit about Tom Bombadil, as I am wont to do whenever people bring up Lord of the Rings.
You would. You should.
And then that's
everybody
exactly what he
freaking
made.
chill about Tom Bombadil, or I'll get unreasonably upset.
So, in your assessment, what did you think of the everyone kind of paired off, or at least a number of people did, romantically? How'd you feel about that? Did that seem really forced and dumb to you, or?
Tom Bombadil is a merry old fellow with his bright blue jacket and his boots are yellow. Right?
It's our yellow.
Right.
Imagine discovering mummy remains and oh my God, these ancient figures. Dude, what if we crushed this and snorted it, yo? I bet we'd get fucked up.
Let's talk for a moment about the fucking all-star cast in this movie. We have Ewan McGregor slaughtering it the entire time, main character energy, top to bottom. You can't argue with it. Women want him, men want him, everybody wants Ewan McGregor. Okay? If you don't agree with that, you're lying to yourself.
Apparently she had a backstory, but they cut it because she's very hard-nosed at the beginning. And then I will say another pro of this movie is their chemistry is hot. And I feel like if they didn't have that chemistry, I would have been ugh. Because she says at one point, she's like, oh, it's the apocalypse. What are we going to do? Fuck. And he's like, and then later when they are kissing, if they didn't have chemistry and if it was like two lesser actors, I think it would have been like an eye roll, like felt cheesy, but like you feel their bond.
The Langoliers themselves were originally going to be portrayed by puppets, and I think maybe they should have. Maybe they should have.
Dude, that's amazing.
There's no maybe about that.
And I wish that I could say that there was something greater happening here than the war diary of a broken man living as sort of this White Tower academic with all of his friends sitting inside the Eagle and Child drinking beer and pretending like, you know, Magic Lion Jesus isn't really silly. Because, I mean, it is. If we can just all be very honest with each other.
The Lord's work out there. Good job.
I like to think that I am. Most people aren't big enough, but I am. I'm willing to step up. You know?
Yeah, dedicate
still-
that
yeah,
time.
settle
You're willing
twice.
willing to dedicate that time.
Good, the time, the money, all of it.
That was so painful. It's one of those painful things
Oh, that
I've
was
done in my
so good.
life.
That was so good. We've never been so savagely attacked by any author on their show. It's incredible.
We're back.
We are.
All right.
What
Everyone's
up?
gonna filter back in as we hit the second part of our show, which is the open discussion and questions. I got quite a few from this debate. And I'm going to start with the last one I wrote down because I think we still have it fresh on our mind. We've been talking a lot, especially in this kind of little three debate we had here, but I think a few things you mentioned as well, MJ, of like narration, which is a huge part of any story. And Shelley definitely was super intentional with the unreliable narrator. And I think, Clayton, you made a great point of like, no matter how Victor spins his story, he's always going to come off looking like an asshole, even when he does it and tries to make himself as nice as possible. And I think that's the point. It's utilized to really great effect there. But when you're creating your own stories, so this question to you first, MJ, like you bounce narratives. I remember that from your books, and that's a choice. Sometimes it's really good one. In your books, it's a really good one. I've seen places where it doesn't work. How do you kind of come to that? Was it an organic thing? Was it something you thought of before that you wanted to be in multiple characters' heads? Or what goes into that thought process for you in deciding what avenue you're going to take the narration style?
Yeah, well, and it's not for everyone, right? Like I see people all the time that are like, oh, this is multi-POV. I'm not going to read it, which is fine. You know what I mean? Everybody has their own taste. I will say I wrote my first ever single POV book last year. It's with my agent right now. It's not like nobody can read it. So sorry. But it
Take
was,
that.
right. Like, but that was, I didn't do it intentionally. Just like in the drafting segment or like the outlining segment, it's not like I intentionally went in like, I'm going to write a single POV book. Just like with Among Thieves and Thick as Thieves, I didn't go in like, I really want to write a multi-POV book. Like, to me, I think the story tells you what kind of narration it needs. And you just listen to what the story needs. So like for Among Thieves, for example, I wanted to tell a heist that was actually 5 heists, right? A heist where every member of our heist team is plotting against the rest of the team. And to me, that required 5 different POVs because I wanted us to see inside everybody's heads. But then, the other story that I wrote, there are a lot of different people plotting against each other, but I really just wanted to dive deep on this one guy, this one poor motherfucker. And so, for that one, I didn't really think it needed it. I will say one thing I really haven't necessarily played with super in depth is the like unreliable narrator thing. Every narrator is unreliable in a sense, right? Like they're always going to paint themselves in their own viewpoint, and even just like, selection bias of like what details they mention in their sections and whatever is going to have some sort of bias. But the like unreliable narrator, like we're talking, whatever, the Catcher in the Rye, the most famous example, or like more recently what I've been reading, like Empire of the Vampire, right? Like where it's like that series is like famously like unreliable narrator. That is a really fun thing that I can't even begin to like conceptualize from a craft level how I would approach that effectively. So like mad respect to the writers that are doing that and doing it well, because that seems insane. Maybe someday.
Yeah, something I would say on that is about this movie specifically is he said something in the documentary again that he, like, certain people take in different kinds of stories, but those are like the stories they kind of build themselves from. And this, I really did like this because it kind of turned, he always puts a fairy tale spin on things, so it kind of turned Frankenstein into a fairy tale.
It kind of did. Yeah, you're right.
And I was thinking about that today because it is such a like important part of our cultural lexicon. It is one of those things that's echoed through the ages. And when you really look at it as like an early genre piece, it's especially powerful for those of us who love like a specific genre that it happened to have invented, you know? So it's cool that it's still around, I guess, is my main thing there, in such a huge way. Like it's infused itself into the culture in ways that a lot of stories never will, you know? It's one thing to have a movie, it's one thing to have some retellings or something, but this has had comic books, this has had comedic cartoons, this has had multiple film adaptations, rewritten books, and inspired so many other works as well, including this one, and it echoed into Del Toro, and so we got this badass version of it, which is a lot of fun, I think. Yeah, that's what I liked about it. He kind of like went into it with a clear intentionality of the kind of story he wanted to tell. At least that's the way it read to me after watching the interviews and stuff. I agree with MJ though. The story tells you, like from my perspective, same kind of thing. I've had some where it started with multiple, and some where those became single POV, and then I've had the reverse.
Yeah, it's like it just tells you what it needs. Well, and it's kind of like, to go back to talking about what we were talking about right before the break with the kind of themes and like the message the story is telling. I mean, I'm gonna, this is me disagreeing with myself from earlier, so like whatever, we're just spitballing here. But when you know, when I was saying it might be a lack of trust in the audience, I mean, it may have been such a thing, right? When we're kind of just beating the point that Victor is the monster and the monster is not the monster. But I also almost wonder if it was like an intentional thematic choice for the current climate we're all in. You know what I mean? Where this, like, it was just like and again, I do think that the message was a little heavy-handed, seems like a strong way to put it, but like, you know, not as nuanced as Shelley's. But maybe the world we're living in is a less, unfortunately, this like Twitter world is like a less nuanced world. And it's like, no, if we're going to make sure that, you know, we want to make sure we're not judging people for the origin of their creation, and we're, you know, for the contents of their soul or whatever, you know, we need to really hammer home that even this like objective monster is not the monster. So I don't know. I thought that was, now that I'm thinking about it again, I don't know, but maybe that's what makes it so great, is that we can disagree with even ourselves on it.
Yeah, you promised to agree with yourself, and you ended up talking yourself out of it.
Yeah, that was quite a twist.
It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie all of a sudden.
Right?
Oh, yeah. But like,
I do not want to see his Frankenstein.
That would be, oh god.
Victor just
going back to the whole POV thing.
Himself, is that what you said?
Yeah, Victor birthed himself the whole time. It's a time travel movie. Time travel.
Yeah, he invents time
100%.
travel instead of like sewing.
He made the monster, and the monster is me. You know?
Right?
He traveled forward in time to get his own corpse, and then back in time to make himself.
Exactly.
Writes itself.
This is like a Futurama episode more than M. Night Shyamalan.
Well, this is all in
Futurama,
live action,
for sure.
MJ. All in live action.
Yeah, it's all live action. Yeah.
Makes it different. Okay. I'm sorry, we keep stepping on your toes. Go.
My toes, my goodness. But you know, it's but like going back to the POV thing, like especially as it pertains to this movie, I think it is maybe one of the weaker aspects of the film. because there's this sort of framing of the film which differs from the book, where in the book it's the captain telling the story that he heard from Victor and the story that Victor heard from the monster, whereas in this you have Victor basically answering the story of, hey, what was that all about, by telling his entire life story from childhood to like 10 minutes ago, which most of the story does not answer the question of what was that. So it's like
He's a very patient captain.
He's a very patient guy, and then the monster shows up.
What else does he have to do?
Like a non-zero percentage of the crew, and then he's like, I'm gonna listen to this guy too. I know he opened up the door and I saw people.
I think this guy deserves a place at the
table. Things were on fire, but like, I'm gonna listen to him. Watch your head. The ceilings are low.
That captain is straight up stuck in ice in the North Pole. I 100% believe he'd just be like, "Oh, you want to talk to me for an hour and a half? Sit down.
I'm good.
Enjoy
but
the
like,
fire."
They're kind of under siege by a giant monster, and he's like,
"Yeah,
yes, please tell me about your childhood trauma."
He's getting
captain
Chris.
Really socially awkward. Maybe that's what we're learning. And he's like,
yeah,
cut him off. Like he's like in the middle of a thing right now.
Maybe he was just waiting. He was just waiting for Victor to tell him that the monster was a woman, because he's been only with men for a very long time.
There you go. That was his,
all right, speed it up. Does this thing? Maybe.
You know.
Like, am I
Sausage
scared, or am I scared and a little?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like half mast, full mast. What are we talking about here? All right.
This is my alternate view of this. Oh
my god.
Yeah, I love what you said, MJ. Sorry, Jeremy. Did you have
He still
I
has
did it.
Okay.
I did it.
I thought you wrapped
good.
it. I thought you wrapped it up.
Every 5 seconds.
I thought I felt that you wrapped it up, so I continued on. Okay. I love what you said, MJ, about the narration, and I think the way you and Clay both put it, of like the story does it. I think I can feel that as a reader, and the best examples of the moment you get a switch to POV is like the moment that you're like, oh, I really want to hear what this character has to say, and then all of a sudden you're in there and you're like, hey, they read my mind. And I think I've seen that in your books, and that's really good writing. I want to ask kind of a funny one. Well, maybe not a funny one, but like one about books and movies. What background elements? Because you talked a lot about the music and the cinematography, which I think are both outstanding. Guillermo did. I don't know who his cinematographer was. I'll look that up while you're answering the question. But there's background elements in both books and movies that I think we gravitate towards personally. And I kind of want to hear what everyone's are, because I definitely have my own niche ones that I'm like, give me a good scenery shot for like a solid 5 minutes, and I'm sucked in. I'm like, this guy knows how to look at a plane. Like that's right.
Damn,
Zoom
that's
in
a nice
slowly.
plane.
Zoom in slowly on them trees for give me a little bit more.
Your review of The Return of the King. Yes.
That's what I want. 100%. So yeah, I just am curious, starting with you, MJ, like what are, in both books and movies, what are some of those background elements that when they are there, you're like already, okay, this gets +2 to the 10 score because this is so awesome.
So for film and like television and anything visual, cinematography for sure. Like I am a sucker for like a beautiful ass shot. Like especially if it's just like super dramatic. Like again with that veil in the one, or like I'm trying to think of other like quintessential examples. That one shot of like Sir Davos from season whatever the fuck of Game of Thrones standing by the pyre and like picking up the little horse, and like you see like anything where it's like just emotionally steeped and visually beautiful, stop. Like you can stand on that you can pull a Tolkien and describe trees all day, right? Like that is my version of that. Like hold on that shot for 7 seconds. I don't care. Yeah. And then score is really important. I'm a music geek. I don't know. I was a band geek all through my life. So like music and like, especially like score type, like classical type instrumental music, I'm a sucker for. Background elements in books. I mean, I'm going to say prose as a background element, but specifically, I don't want flowery prose if I'm reading. I mean, I'll read flowery prose. I've liked it. I've got a lot of books that I've enjoyed that are like that. But generally speaking, the thing I like to say is I want the prose of the books I'm reading to punch me in the nose. Like I want the prose to deck me in the face. I want it to be really direct. I want it to be like really like almost violent in its like how visceral it is. Like that is what like sucks me in and gets me. And then also just really good internal monologue for our characters, right? Like I love dialogue, but like if I get like those little lines in between where it's not like, and then I thought this, but it's literally just like the line is like, well, that was fucking stupid. I am a sucker for that, where like I feel like I'm sucked in and like reading as the character. You know what I mean? So yeah, those are probably my picks for
Great
like
picks.
background elements.
Clay and Jeremy, I know you're going to jump in, but I just want to, and Colin, he's back. Dan Loutzen was the cinematographer. He's a Danish cinematographer who has worked with Guillermo on several projects, but also I think y'all maybe can see a hint of this in his work as was the director of photography for the John Wick series. And I definitely can see that with a lot with the color scheme.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jeremy, do you want to go next this time since we interrupted you the whole time last time?
Hey, that's so thoughtful. That's so considerate.
I'm not a monster.
Well, okay. We don't know that for sure. But carrying on, like for me, like the background details in movies, well, they can be anything. The recurring things that you can count on reliably is like if the music is good, I'm like, oh yeah, this rips, dude. Like, let's go. Let's do this. Cinematography can also be one of those things I notice. Sometimes it can be like distracting. Like if stuff is so good looking, like I have actually missed like dialogue in things when the cinematography was too good to look at, and I'm like just like, oh wow. Oh man, look at that shit, they're talking, god. But beyond that, I am going to notice and usually it's because I'm taking issue with like cooking I see happen on screen.
Yeah.
Almost always they're doing it wrong. And that's just the thing, when it comes to books, the thing that maybe I love more than anything in any book is I get really drawn into like descriptions of things people don't typically notice or care about, that one of the characters is having like almost a mental breakdown about, like
yeah,
like I don't know why the only example that's coming to mind is like in American Psycho, where Christian Bale is just like having a crisis about business cards. It's like, oh my god, look at the font, holy shit, just that kind of thing. But imagine that written down. And that's basically, but that's what I like, because it shows so much of like what a character is, the things they'll get distracted by. And yeah, that's just me. Yeah.
I love that. The neuroses of individual characters. Yeah, that is beautiful.
That's so good.
Yeah. Clay?
I think honestly for me, it's when things feel realistic. I also love portrayal of like everyday people being put in these extreme circumstances, because like I don't know, there's sometimes you put a character in that sort of situation, but they never feel like that. Like Luke Skywalker doesn't really feel like a farm kid to me because he's not. I don't ever see him as a farm kid. You know, he's just
Never
like,
farms
yeah, I'm
me.
also super good pilot, and I'll pick this lightsaber thing up pretty quick. So he doesn't feel like a farm kid, you know.
And yet Ray is the Mary Sue. I'm just kidding. I don't like Ray either, but
I mean, I like Ray more than I like Luke.
Oh, hot take.
Hot
Whoa,
take.
damn.
Is it?
I do think her combat skills off the bat are more believable than Luke's.
I
That
agree
I
with
will
that.
say.
I agree.
That
We
is a
need to
hot
bring
take.
you.
I'm
I think
sorry,
we
I'm
need
getting
to
us
bring
off
you.
topic, but
No, I think we need to bring you back for another episode on the sequel trilogy as a whole.
That'll
I
be a
have-
good
Act
time.
I
like
have
it was
thoughts.
two movies.
Okay, fun fact, I was recently on a marketing podcast for my day job, and we ended up talking about the sequel trilogy for like 40 minutes of it because
Nice.
we both got so off track by it. So I have thoughts.
I do too. But Clay,
Nice. I don't know. I'm sitting out for those. I can't rewatch those. Those are something. But
I'm
anyway,
really only gonna watch the first two of those.
yeah, the first two is, I guess, doable. Anyway, I'm a sucker for that when things feel real, when people really do feel out of their element, in a natural way, by way of their like actual circumstances. That's also dialogue is a huge part of that for me. So good dialogue will always hook me, books or movies. And cinematically, like in terms of set on movies and stuff, I am a huge fan for real sets, and I'm a huge fan for like really cool props, believable props, like believable but cool. Like, and I like when the world rules are established for me through the world and like organic character movement through the world. That goes for books or movies too, but in movies especially because you have to execute it on every level. So like once you tell me this is it's a Del Toro movie, so I'm already expecting it to be a little like fluffy in terms of reality, but also really grounded and extremely relatable, like interior problems that kind of bring you into the fairy tale with it, let you see yourself in it. So I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. That's why he's one of my favorite directors, because I think he does that really, really well. So yeah, that was a list of things. That's probably enough from me for now.
I'm a big fan, like you said, Clay, of the like realism of the regular people. I think that's the reason I've always really liked Soderbergh. He has a really good voice for that.
Yeah.
I will go on the air stating this, and I've been made fun of my entire life.
Hold on. I'm gonna put you on big screen here.
Oh yeah, so that I can
Breaking
on the
news.
Air, people have I've gotten crap already. I think Magic Mike is a brilliant film. I don't like the male stripper scenes. Whatever, they're not much of the movie. It's a brilliant film about a guy that's doing everything he can to get out of his crappy construction job and like fulfill a dream. And I think that's Soderbergh does a great job with that. So I'm with you, Clay. Like when the regular man has a great voice.
I did not say that.
No, not with the Magic
I was gonna say I love the juxtaposition of those comments where you're like, I love Magic Mike. I'm with you, Clay.
Boom!
Yeah, we're all with you, Clay. Magic Mike is great. You can
Yeah,
calm down
we
about
get
it.
it. Okay, we get it.
Yeah, everyone. Clay's opinion on Magic Mike is
Clay
correct.
loves Magic Mike.
Yeah, that was my whole takeaway.
No, and I
Breaking
kind of
news.
maybe in all that jokiness, I might have lost my second one. Oh, with movies. Oh man, it was right there, and it's gone now. Cinematography, obviously. Oh, I like in both movies and books when you're left with a moment of either silence or an unanswered question, because I think that's so realistic to life. Like the amount of times I've walked away from a conversation and been dissatisfied or like said like, well, what if they said this? And it's like, yeah, they didn't though. And like, I love when storytellers are bold enough to like not give us the like nice, clean answer, but give us the kind of real one that is open-ended or maybe a little questiony. Big fan of that. Okay. Creatures. I want to talk about creatures, people.
Oh yeah.
Our favorite creatures and how do we craft them? MJ, I'm gonna admit to you, I don't remember there being creatures in Among Thieves,
There are not.
but
I
there are
mean, I guess there's like some
definitely
dogs somewhere. But
yeah,
not like
you know,
creatures. Yeah.
but there's definitely magical elements and like another part of this question, what makes a creature in a story, right? Yeah, how do we build those kind of magical elements in our stories and make creatures convincing? And what are the things that make us love the creatures we love? I'm going to start on this one and open it up to you, MJ, of like what I really liked about this Frankenstein's monster was the subtlety of every once in a while we got a shot where the eye was red. And it was usually
I like the eye.
a dreadful scene. You'd get this like little glint of like, ooh, he's mad. Like you get like the red eye kind of glint in the darkness. And I really thought that was a cool, subtle touch that Del Toro did, showing us that he had still that monstrous side. It just doesn't come out as much. But MJ, what do you think? What are some of your most memorable creatures? And have you crafted one yet? If so, how'd you go about it?
If so, what was the vibe? Man, okay, creatures. Because here's the thing: by my normal definition of a creature in fiction, particularly this iteration of Frankenstein's monster, I don't know that I would define them as a creature. I mean, I know they are like the creature, the monster, but like to me, it's like a creature is something that is distinctly inhuman, and this Frankenstein's monster felt so very humanized to me, which I think is part of the, it really dovetails into a lot of what we were talking about earlier. You do see that glint, and I noticed that in the eye, at certain points. But even with that, I think that, through the portrayal and the writing of the story, I think that this particular Frankenstein's monster was very humanized. Because to me, a creature is very like uncanny valley at the closest to humanity. You know what I mean? So if I'm thinking of like some of my favorite like creatures, gosh, oh my God, my like brain, because when I think of a creature, I'm thinking of like dragons. I'm thinking of like, pixies, and you know what I mean? Like whatever, like I have created like these big flying cat things in a book that I have that's not out yet. Like that to me is like what I think of as a creature. In that same story where I have the big flying cats, I've created a bunch of different like races of beings that are, some are more fish-like, some are more like human-like, some are more whatever, but they all have like very humanoid intelligence. And so to me, I have trouble defining that as a creature. But so I'm very interested to hear you guys take on like what, when you're reading, when you're thinking about, fiction, where do you draw the line of where is a creature? It's a really fascinating question, because it's like, honestly, it might be the central question of the entire Frankenstein story.
I have one.
Oh,
Let's go.
Colin.
So I'm a big nerd for, sci-fi is my favorite genre. And usually in sci-fi, there's an emphasis on, the reason or the rationale for something. So if you have a creature, it ideally has ecology involved in the way it looks and the way it acts and why. And so like Dune is a perfect example where the sandworms, a lot of Dune is about ecology. I was not prepared for that when I read it. And the sandworm itself, like, we are told, and Frank Herbert thought through all of the aspects of how this creature evolved, what it does, things that it influences in the environment, how the environment influences it. And so I love that. And Alien has some of that too, especially the first film, in like the process of how the creature metamorphosizes. And then in this film, what I loved is the anatomy. Since I've worked in an OR and had to study a lot of anatomy and take x-rays, it was so cool to see like the lymphatic system and them just nerd out about it. Because that in itself is like a very unclear system that we're just understanding more about, how important the lymphatic system is to our bodies and our health, and the importance that it has on like even our psychology. So it was super cool to see like the transformation of his work and all the little things in the background that you can pick out, like the lymphatic system of the body, and then also the different major muscles and musculature, especially of like the knee. I mean, those were real. Like, I'm pretty sure some of those prosthetics in the film are like ones that actual medical students use to study with. Because just him putting the knee into that one part of him creating the monster, I mean, that was like, that's legitimate. Those are in anatomy labs for sure. I've seen them. And it's super cool to see all that detailed work going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it all just kind of goes to the point of like how everything about a creature should kind of reinforce what the story is about, including like the level of sentience the creature has. Because like it can make a lot of sense for a mindless creature. Think zombies. It most of the time does not make sense for zombies to be like sentient, thinking, feeling creatures, whereas like it makes sense story-wise, and also I guess just kind of sense-wise for this film, where when the monster first comes about, he's basically as intelligent as an infant, because he's an infant. I guess maybe smarter than the one, because he starts saying Victor very quickly. Yeah. In that sense, he's a prodigy. But it also goes into reinforcing the whole parenthood themes within the film, which is great, you know. But, you know, Guillermo del Toro is great at making creatures the point of his movies. See, as evidence, I guess all of his movies? Just all of them.
The evidence
pretty much
points to the entire filmography.
Yeah, just all of it.
Just point to the man.
I don't know if
point
the
at him.
orphanage, because those are ghosts.
Ghosts
That's
are
fair.
creatures.
I was gonna say, is a ghost a creature though? This is the
I don't
thing.
know.
It's like, where's the
Creatures.
line? What's a creature? Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
think
here's the
they're
thing. I think that
non-human.
also I just have a flawed definition, because I just made the statement like, well, how humanoid and how whatever. I would not define traditional zombies. Like, I would define them as a creature, and I would also and they're very humanoid, but completely, you know, devoid of brain function. But if we're talking like going super nerd, like fantasy realm, Saphira from Aragon, who is a
Mhm.
dragon, but has completely like talks in full sentences and shit, I would identify her as a creature. I don't think my definitions make sense. We shouldn't listen to me.
I think
is
it's-
what-
Well, look,
I mean,
if you're
D&D
exactly
rules,
human, you're not
they're
a
all
creature.
Yeah,
I think you
D&D
can get
rules.
pretty
Everyone's a
close.
creature, even a
The
human.
only
I
thing
think
that's not
you
a
can get
creature is an
pretty
object.
I like it.
close
We're
to
all
human.
just creatures. I mean, we
All
are.
Yeah, we're all just creatures, man.
True.
You know?
It's fair.
The main
Yeah.
difference between us and the rest of them is we don't think we're creatures.
Right.
Um,
Oh, that goes back to the accent conversation we were having earlier.
Oh my god,
We
full
none of us think we
circle.
have an accent.
There you go.
The same principle.
Yeah,
I have
that's
several
still
accents
here to
that
hang
come
out.
and go, actually.
And
I
just for
know
the nerds
this.
out there, I'm pretty sure creature comes from creator and creatore, which is like Latin for created.
Ah,
So
so
all things that are
we
created
Ah.
are creatures.
yeah,
Ah.
everything created.
Look at
I
that.
guess I think you all knew what I meant, though. You know, this is a
Yeah.
creature feature.
Yeah, for sure.
The
No,
monster.
But
we did, but we went very, very
I love it
like,
though.
philosophical with it.
I love that. That's
You knew what you were getting into. You know
I did.
us.
I did.
Yeah, geez.
yeah,
Right.
come on now, bud.
What is a creature other than just a man?
Just a created boy looking for his daddy. No, I do think you all bring up good points that sort of everything's on a spectrum. So it's just like, I think there's some point where it's either inhuman enough in appearance that it can cancel out its consciousness, or it's conscious enough in its actions, and human enough that like we can see it. We have a hard time not seeing it as human. Whereas with the dragon, it's like that is clearly a different creature. And like, I think we would say the same about an alien if it was done a certain way, and not an alien, like a xenomorph, certainly a creature, right? No question. But they are intelligent on some level, right? So like, is an orca whale a creature? Because I also, when I think of creature, I think of like, I usually tend to think of a speculative creature of some kind. I assume I have to have a speculative mindset when I look at this being, right? So I wouldn't think of a horse as a creature, but it's all the way not human. It's because it's not speculative. So I guess some weird combination of that little Venn diagram, wherever those things kind of swerve into each other, is what a creature is.
What if you take a horse and just put a spike? Just
unicorn.
Add a
That's
spike.
That's Scotland's national animal there.
Favorite creatures, I would say I'm a sucker for any like shape-shifting creature. Everything from the doppelganger to, the shapeshifter in The Outsider is a good example. I love 𝘍𝘳𝘍𝘬𝘯𝘵 demon. I like a good possession story too that kind of like takes the shape. So I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff, shape-shifting, assuming of character, and sort of like lends itself to psychological horror, I think, that's really character-driven. So I'm a big fan of those. And I like me a good water monster, Imhotep's a dog, and he always will be. And again, like, he goes into creature. Do we agree on that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's a monster for sure. Movie monster for sure.
Exactly.
I'm kind of with you, Clay, on I think my favorites are, and this maybe is the theology nerd in me, I like when it's like the type of monster that was human and has like teetered on the edge of a wrong decision and become like the one I thought of was the Eaters in the first Law series. I consider them creatures, but they're also humans. They're just doing like improper magic, and it's making them something other. And I think that's a really fascinating plot line in any story I find it in. Final question to you, MJ, first, and then for all of us. I hope this one's a fun one. We all on this panel here, in some form or another, do this whole critique deep dive thing on microphones.
Sure.
How does that help you specifically, MJ, and then anyone else who wants to answer? How does it help you shape your craft to kind of do this as maybe another job or another part of how you enjoy literature, to pick it apart, critique it, compliment it, and really just generally consume it on a level of like intellectual discussion?
Yeah. No, it's a good question. And I think any person, well, okay, that's a bold statement. I think most people who engage with an art form in the form of creating it have a hard time consuming it without putting on the creator hat. You know what I mean? So it is really fun to talk about it, though. And it's extra fun to talk about it with other creators who are consuming with the creator hat on, right? Like this format. Because you learn stuff, you see points of view that you wouldn't normally see. I'm kind of infamous. I mean, I'm playing with a pen right now. I literally always, when I'm recording SFF Addicts, when we're talking to other authors and creators, I literally am taking notes. Like, I'm taking notes in my notebook, and it is shaping the way that I am viewing things. So yeah, I think the life of, if I could get philosophical for a moment, but the life of an artist is the life of a lifelong student, right? Like, if you ever think you have peaked in your craft, you're cooked.
Maybe you did.
You know what I mean? Like, Yeah,
Maybe
right.
you
I
just
mean,
did.
yeah, right. And that's the thing is, it's like if ever you are like, oh, yep, nope, I am the best. Like I don't have anything to learn from these people. You're wrong. So yeah, I think that's what makes it really fun to dig into this stuff. Is you're always going to read it with that hat on, but talking about it to other people who have a different mindset, or maybe just like a slightly, deviated from your viewpoint, interpretation of something. It opens your mind up even further to different interpretations of everything you see. And, you have people that are coming at it from different angles, different interest points. And talking deeply about craft and fiction and tropes and all kinds of things, it can only make all of us better as creators and even just consumers of media, right? Like we should all be consuming with some level of discernment. And I think it makes us all better at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have a lot to add to that because that was a really good monologue. I will just huck in, killer monologue. You get the award, the Fermented Fiction Award. Yeah, it doesn't exist yet, but we'll send it to you in the mail.
Thank you. I'll wait on tenterhooks.
Good. You'll have to. Jeremy, can you 3D print one of those, please?
With gusto.
So yeah. I do agree with everything MJ just said, though. It is basically the concept that conventions base their entire business model around. Is that like, if we can get all these nerds in one place and get them drunk, we will make money. And they're right.
That is true, yes.
Yes, I think it tends to work. At least somebody makes money. I don't know if the average convention makes money or not, but vendors do. Lots of people do. So yeah, I think that stories bring people together. They give us a built-in community. They give us a great thing to talk about, and it gives you a way to connect with other types of artists. It gives you a way to connect with your readers or your viewers or your listeners if you happen to have any of those. And it gives you another way to engage with your craft that's not in any way connected to your productivity or whatever. It's just kind of it changes from an experience of just like being along the ride for the movie to more appreciating the ride to the movie, like a ride that you've taken a few times. So you notice new things and sometimes you find hidden beauty in that. And I think that watching movies more critically is really good for that. And reading books as a writer, you're kind of finding like, why does this work? Not just that it works. And I think that's a really fun process as well. And definitely makes you better.
Yeah. And I mean, I have to just, keep agreeing because, you knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, you do.
With your analysis. I'll say for me on just on a mechanical level for like the improvement of the craft and whatever, like the additional points of view are essential because it kind of, especially when we're talking about something that we all know about, that we've all seen, it gives me like a baseline for how to like judge the additional critiques. And it also points out to me things that like I noticed that nobody else ever will, things that other people notice that I should maybe look out for when doing my own things and writing, and because that is tremendously helpful. I'm just one harmless weirdo with my own weird point of view, and yeah, I can't know everything. I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, well, like Frankenstein's monster, you'll always be letting us down in that way, won't you?
He's letting us down in that way?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what way he was letting us down.
Oh, he let he was letting Victor down. Not
Oh,
talking.
yeah.
By not knowing
Not
everything?
talking
He
good.
only knew.
Oh yeah, because he
Victor.
wasn't talking good. I think it's because Victor didn't hit him good enough with his stick, or he was using the wrong stick, maybe.
Did we really let the movie figure out if hitting with the stick over a longer amount of time would have worked?
Or maybe it was.
That's the
maybe it
one
was-
flaw of this film, really.
Yeah.
Not letting that
Like,
play out.
he
longer.
only
He really
tried the
shoulda-
gating method for like a
He
day.
could have kept at it.
Give him a year, maybe he would have been a genius.
Yeah,
He did
Victor's
that in
father
Pan's
was way
Labyrinth.
more dedicated
He did do
to
that
the
in
craft
Pan's
of
Labyrinth.
hitting kids with sticks.
I want everyone to know, as I am a teacher, I do not condone hitting children with sticks to get them to learn. That is not what I do. I have
Exactly.
once held a
That's an
stick
important
and said,
clarification.
I have a stick. And they said, you're threatening us. And I said, I simply stated the fact that I have a stick. I did not
It's
threaten
true.
you.
Exactly. Don't hit kids with sticks. Play mind games.
100%.
Yes.
I do
then
want
you
to
only
really
traumatize them mentally, not
Yeah,
Right.
mentally and
that's
physically.
Precisely.
once again, I'm joking about all of that. I do not think you should mentally traumatize children.
I wasn't joking
Poor
about
Travis
my-
is like fighting for his life right now.
We do not endorse.
We do not
Like,
endorse.
This
Yeah,
is
we-
all very tongue in cheek. That scene was actually really
Yes.
upsetting. Like,
Yes, it was.
like I had to skip over it a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah. I did want to real quick
Right.
talk about the question that I asked, not just beating children. Yeah, I think you summed
Good
it up
call.
great, MJ. And I think what it's
Dude, you keep doing that. No, that made it sound like
Yeah,
you
we're
summed
gonna
up
clip
beating
that for
children.
sure.
Yeah, you summed up beating children great, MJ. No, MJ did great summing up how it is very good that we have discussions about critiquing and analyzing books and movies and how that helps our crafts. And I think we've said it on the show before, but I think it bears reiterating for new listeners of like, I have definitely gone into movies with a different lens, having started this show of like, in looking for things to critique, I am automatically looking deeper into the thing. And I'm like walking away with a list of how am I going to tear this apart? How am I going to lift this up? So it's making me find the good in things I would normally just look for the bad. And it's making me find the bad in things that I would normally like just kind of always be on the team of. And I think that's a beautiful thing to be able to try and suss out both the flaws and the beauties of the product. But that's all
See,
I
I've
agree.
noticed the opposite. Where like to go in through a critical lens, I have to take a step back and essentially remove myself from the overall experience
Yeah.
to like get a clearer read on like, oh, the performances and this and these technical aspects, and is this good structurally? Like, what's actually going on with everybody's accents? Whereas, like, if I'm just watching something for the love of watching it, like Speed Racer, then I just go in and I'm like, oh yeah, man, let's do this, and it's the emotion washes over me. And so
Clock it,
Here's-
gentlemen. 2 hours and 2 minutes for him to mention Speed Racer.
it wasn't relevant most of the time.
It always gets there eventually. Like
Always.
speed to the old finish line.
Yep.
And that's where we are right now. But first we got to wave the checkered flag. We got one more lap to go, and that lap is right in this thing. But we're going to do it fermented fiction style, which might seem a little ridiculous.
Because
If you think that, then like you're judging us on what we do, and that's not really cool of you.
I'm doing it anyway.
But it also might be because it is ridiculous. And the reason that it's ridiculous is because what we do is we are going to all go around and we're going to say, how many beers, substances, whatever of your choice do you need to enjoy Frankenstein to the fullest? And we will start with MJ. Or no, we'll end with you, MJ, so you can introduce yourself one more time. Colin, how many?
You're so awful. You're a Victor Frankenstein for just shouting out a person who's not ready.
Hey, hurry up.
How much milk?
How much
Hey,
milk?
don't steal my rating. Don't steal my rating.
I did nothing.
You should drink 3 servings of brandy while you enjoy this film. Evenly spaced.
I like that.
Also, it's 2.5 hours. So
I was
you could
gonna say
do
it's like 3 hours almost, but 2.5. So that tracks. That tracks. Yeah.
optional 4th.
Okay. Travis?
Make yourself however many glasses of milk Victor Frankenstein drinks. You're gonna make yourself a what is the dude's drink?
Why
that
would you
looks
do
like
that?
milk?
White Russian.
Oh yeah,
A White
yeah,
Russian.
White
you're
Russian.
gonna have a
oh,
you're gonna have a
no.
white Russian with Victor every time he drinks milk, which is a surprising
Whoa.
amount of
Drinking
times.
It's
You're gonna
more
get
than you would think.
fucked
It's
up.
more than you think because it distracted the hell out of me. I was like, the milk, man, it's gotta be
Dude,
something
like the
about
first couple
birth
times I was
and
like,
Yeah.
It
I
gets
told
a
you guys
lot
about
of
my like
play.
chaotic little like iPod. What year is it? iPhone notes.
Oh,
The
dear.
same era as Victor Frankenstein lived.
And I literally like there was a point like I don't know 30 minutes into the movie where I was like literally my note was like what the fuck is up with the milk? Like,
It was
and
probably
I
it was probably the same moment as mine because he like there's a deliberate scene where he walks into his lab and he opens up a chest and it's like, oh, he's going to his liquor cabinet and he pulls out a fucking decanter and it's milk. It's like
so
what?
often it's like
So
poured
wild.
as one would like a fine wine and it's just milk. Anyway, it's fine. We're
Look,
fine.
I've
We're not
never
crashing out
read
about
the
this.
book.
But were you to
Right.
drink a White Russian every time Victor has a milk? You would be white girl wasted before.
It's probably
halfway through.
like 7 or 8 White Russians. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Prepare
It's gonna be a hell of a
yourselves
ride.
and your digestive tracts. Yeah. Anyway.
You will learn in real time why not to invade Russia. Did you have more to that rating, Travis?
Nope, just the White Russians and the milk.
That's
You
so
will
gross.
not be okay.
Have fun with that one. That is playing on survival mode. Jeremy.
Well, here's what you'll need, right? I guess you could go. Well, first of all, you will want like a hefty, like mug, glass, whatever, good size milk, just with you for the experience. You can drink it if you like. You don't have to.
It's your emotional support milk, okay?
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's there if you need it.
Can I have
And
cereal?
it's not there to judge you. Sure. Like dump
All
some
right.
cereal in that.
MJ,
You
you
got
just
Cheerios?
made a fermented fiction T-shirt. I want you to know that emotional support. milk. There we go.
I'm so pleased.
It has to be a decanter of milk.
That's good.
It's
The
gonna be great.
Fun fact, not even related to this movie. It has to do with my wife. She can't watch this movie, obviously, because she's a precious little cinnamon bun and my favorite person. But she's the only person I know who drinks as much milk as Victor Frankenstein. Just throwing that out
Oh.
there for everyone.
Oh no! Okay, we have not.
Dang.
If you're watching this episode, we have not been roasting you this whole time. I'm sorry. I'm sure you're lovely. Okay, bye.
Get her a
She's
decanter for
wonderful.
Christmas for her milk.
Everybody be cool. A
A
decanter
milk
from
decanter, yeah, like a self-cooling milk decanter. Is that a
That
thing?
would be
have to
pretty
be
sick.
cool.
Decanter that
Like-
comes in like an ice bucket.
honestly, that would kind of rule. Actually,
Christmas vibes.
hey, Christmas is coming up, man.
It's
Right.
around the corner.
Just right. Yeah, it's like right over there, hanging
Right
out.
there.
Ugh.
It's on the
Anyway.
way. It's on
Yeah,
the
it's on
way.
the way.
Just as the ending to this episode is, we promise.
One day.
Um,
So yeah, you've got your
I-
emotional support milk.
oh yeah,
And
Jeremy's
then-
still going. It wasn't just emotional support milk.
Yeah, like, hey, we're gonna get there. I have a classic rating style, which is to say,
You do.
bad for you. It's bad for you. So right off the bat, you'll want 3. Just
Sure.
and you don't have to do them all at once, but you will want all of them. It's all the movie's almost 3 hours. You gotta like one at every hour, right? you'll need that, especially when you get to points where the monster is just ripping the skin off wolves. You'll want one more for that. At least one more if you're squeamish for the various surgeries. Well, surgeries that are happening. That's air quotes for the audio only listeners.
Yeah.
Hey, I see you. You don't see me because you're just listening. What up? But yeah, you'll also... I think that amount will kind of get you where you need to be to not really wonder about like all the accents, why Victor's trying so hard to cheat with his brother's mistress, other than that he sucks. And he just sucks the whole time, and that's great.
He does.
Yeah. One for Elizabeth, who honestly cared way more about her than I did Victor. Because, yeah, obviously. And one so you don't realize how messed up it is that the monster doesn't ever get a name. They're just like, monster. Like, okay.
Like, no wonder
Rude.
he's a little fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
For sure.
He doesn't
His
have a
name
name
is
the
Adam.
whole time.
They mentioned it once. It's Adam. They mentioned it once.
Okay, he's credited
Oh.
as the creature. So, I mean...
It's true.
Just saying. They do mention it once. It's in the book. His name is Adam.
Okay. I didn't read the book, and I'm not going to. All right?
We could make you.
I guess?
Well, I mean,
Under
we can't make
duress.
you, but we could do it on the
can't-
show.
We've already done it. We've already done that show.
That was a long
You've
time
already
ago.
done that show? Yeah. Yeah, who even watched however long ago that was?
Philip Richards.
Nobody, because you weren't watching then. You were just listening.
call back to the audio listeners again. I love it.
Yeah. Call
We
back.
see you out
It's
there.
Basically just Philip Bridgers.
Hell yeah, Philip Richards.
Hell
Anything else, Jeremy? Or you?
yeah. I don't know. I don't even know what number that is, but I know it's a problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really think I want to drink too much during any Del Toro movie. I didn't drink it all for the first time because I just wanted to enjoy it, and I did. If I was going to go back and watch it, I'd probably just have one or two. If I wanted to make it a drinking game, I would take one, take a good shot, like a double probably, whenever, and mercury in there if you have it, a mercury chaser, so you don't get sick. If you take a big double with a mercury chaser, don't actually do that. We don't endorse that on Fermented Fiction either.
We're not about that.
We're not about that. Take your big double when the lightning scene happens, and then one more when the monster has to escape the fire, and then one more when he gets shot and snowed on. So the three elemental desecrations of the creature. Sorry, Adam. The desecration of Adam every time. That's what I say. And that'll Travis, did you do one? Yeah, you did one.
Yeah, I did one.
You got
All
your milk.
White Russians.
The
I
White
got the
Russians.
All
That's
white
right.
Russians.
So we're on to MJ. And MJ, after you give us your rating, one more time who you are and where people can find you. And thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on. I also wouldn't, I didn't drink at all when I was watching it through. If I were to recommend like a drinking game for it, I think the drinking every time the milk shows up is a great one. Also though, I would it'd be your second watch. So you've watched it once and now you're watching it again. If you drink every time you realize they're making a conscious framing choice because the monster is Jacob Elordi. I think that would be a fun drinking game, and you'll realize how much he's just in his whatever packing tape underwear. But yeah, that is my vote. And I really did enjoy it overall. It was a great movie. Where you can find me, all my links are on my website, mjkuhn.com, or across all the main socials at mjkuhnbooks, all one word. I'm mostly on Instagram. Or again, I'm a co-host of SFF Addicts Podcast. You can find us at SFF Addicts Pod on Instagram. So yeah, check it out.
Do that indeed. And we will put those links in the show notes. Thank you so much for tuning in to Fermented Fiction. We've been the usual doofuses. We still look like this, except now we got cool orange shit behind us. But all the other stuff's going to stay the same. You can find us later this week, in fact, where we will be hosting Thomas 𝘍𝘳𝘢𝘬𝘦𝘯𝘴, and we will be debating The Good Place. So it'll be a good place to be, or a bad one. It'll be up to the dice gods, really. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please do all that shit. Thank you so much, MJ, for coming and for hanging a little late with us. We really appreciate your dedication to the craft and the discussion thereof. Thank you, everybody, for being on the show. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.